Yeah, Hari Om and good morning, everybody. So, today we are going to discuss the verse 65 to 68 of chapter 2. What Lord says here about the Sthitaprajna Purusha and through him how to lead a life for everybody. So, that we will see. So, till now, as many verses we have discussed, we have understood till today that having controlled the mind and the sense organs by viveka, vichara, by the intellect, the Sthitaprajna Purusha, realized soul, evolves himself and devotes his mind at a higher altar, at a higher goal, at the Lord. So, being free from all attachment and aversion, he remains absorbed in devotion for the God, and he receives the grace, the prasada of God, and experiences the divine bliss, absolute joy and happiness. When he experiences the higher joy and bliss, he no longer feels attracted towards the sense objects in spite of staying amidst the sense organs, sense objects. He stays in the world, but having realized that the joy which I get through my sense organs from the objects, it is all temporary. So he realizes that, and he realizes that the devotion towards God that gives me absolute peace and cool and calmness and happiness. So he remains very happily in this world. He uses all the objects, but he does not get attached towards them. No attachment, but he uses. Thus, free from attachment and all kinds of likes and dislikes, the Sthitaprajna Purusha enjoys God's prasada. Having received the grace of Lord in this manner, he experiences peace, and thus all sorrows end in his life. Mind becomes calm, quiet, tranquil. His intellect soon becomes firmly established in devotion of God, in the God, and he goes inward. Whatever kinds of problems or challenges or attraction, the seeming attraction may be present, but nothing discourages him, nothing disturbs him. He remains sthira. He receives divine love, bliss, and knowledge, and the agitation for the sensual happiness that is totally gone now. So once hankering for sensual objects that stops, then he experiences tranquility and peace of mind. Internal fulfillment is experienced by him. So the individual becomes steady in God and enjoys his life. So now we will see the 65th sloka. Prashade sarva dukkhanam hanirasya pajayate prasanna chetaso yasu buddhi paryabhatisthate. So by divine grace, in this manner all the miseries end and he gets peace. The intellect of such a person is firmly established in God now. No desire is left unfulfilled. As a result of self-control and control of the mind, he remains happy. Intellect becomes sharper. He becomes efficient and more productive. So whenever our mind remains calm, our intellect becomes sharper. It is well understood. So when he controls the sense organs, he becomes peaceful, and this peace results in more and more success in his life. So peaceful mind and sharp intellect, these are the two instruments to get more success in life. So then whatever he does, he gets success and he becomes prosperous. So next stanza we see, Nasti buddhirayuktasya न चायुक्तस्य भावना न च भावयतः शान्तिः अशान्तस्य कुतः सुखम्. here Lord asks a question. Nasti buddhirayuktasya nacha yuktasya bhavana. An indisciplined person who has not controlled his mind and senses. He can neither have a sharp intellect nor can have steady contemplation. Which in the earlier sloka Lord says, if he controls, he can have these two instruments. And here he is telling again, he is repeating. He wants to put stress over this matter, that if an indisciplined person cannot control his mind and senses, he can neither have a sharp intellect nor he can have steady contemplation on God, so that there is no peace in his mind. He will not experience peace and joy and happiness. So how can one who lacks peace remain be happy? Kataha sukham? Kutaha sukham? Where from he will get happiness? So not being able to control the sense and mind, he can neither meditate on God nor can experience the divine bliss. So without the higher test and without going to the higher realm of realization, he can't renounce the lower test also. He indulges himself in the sense happiness obtained from the senses, and he keeps anchoring for more and more material happiness, and his life slowly becomes a very difficult or challenge for himself only. There is a story. A bee was sitting on the lotus flower, drinking its nectar. How happy! And so sun started setting down, and the bee realizes that now sun is setting, and the petals of the lotus flower slowly they started closing. The bee is realizing that now the petals are going to close, and if now I do not go out, then I will be closed and trapped by that. But in spite of that, the nectar which it is drinking is so tasty that it cannot come out. It is thinking that let me enjoy little bit more, and I will come out. So while he is thinking, the bee was thinking like that to fly away. That time all the petals closed and the bee was trapped inside. Then the bee thought, okay, doesn't matter. Tomorrow morning when the petals are going to be opened and the flower is going to bloom, I will go out. Why to worry? Let me enjoy the nectar till that time. So he remained. So in the night an elephant comes, and that elephant detaches that lotus flower from the stem and nicely gulps it, swallows it, and the bee meets its end or death by that way. So this is how the bee's end takes place, because the bee could not control itself and could not come out of it at the right time. This is the same thing, it happens with all human beings. The sense objects and the joy thereof, it is so attractive that we know that danger is ahead. We know that no, if I don't come out, then I will face problem. So we do not behave like that tortoise. When danger comes, immediately you are going to withdraw your mind and senses. So we don't do many a times like that bee only, we are trapped. So this is a beautiful example. So though the bee was having the capacity to cut through the wood, it is so capable, but due to the attachment to the nectar that it was enjoying, it could not come out. Similarly, we human beings also are so much engrossed in gratification of the senses, we do not pay heed to all the messages of the scriptures or our gurus or those who all tell us that go in the right path. We don't pay any heed to all this, because we are engrossed in the sense organs so much that we don't listen to anybody. So no peace, no joy is experienced, and he lives a very mean life by that way and suffers a lot in his life. Now we will see the next stanza. Indriyanam hi charatam yanmano anuvidhiyate tadasya harati prakyam vayurnavami bambhase Just as a strong wind that sweeps a boat off its chartered course. The boat was moving towards particular direction. If strong wind comes, then it diverts that boat, and sometimes the boat also meets its end and it enters into the water. So this happens. Even one of the senses on which the mind focuses can lead the intellect away, like that boat which moves away by the wind. Even one of the sense organs, God here tells, 5 not necessary, one sense organ also, the attachment, if it is very strong, then the intellect will move away. And if the intellect moves away, the human being cannot do anything. So God has made our 5 sense organs outward. In Kathopanishad it is written, all our 5 sense organs, they are outward. Their faces are towards the world of objects. Okay, so hence they are drawn towards the objects very fast. To the outer world they go very fast. So even one of these 5 sense organs on which the mind focuses has the tremendous power to lead it astray. So 5 sense organs, what? How much destruction they can cause. The deer, animal, they are attracted to sweet sounds. That is why the hunters, they attract the deer by creating melodious music. Poor deer do not understand and they are attracted and they are trapped by the hunter. Only one sense organ. Similarly, fish we know are trapped by the food, the bait. The fisherman that puts the bait and the fish swallows it, and fish is trapped also. Like that, many examples are there in the animal world. They are all trapped by only one bee example just now I gave. So one sense organ. So when 5 sense organs we are doing, how much destructivities you can imagine. A person very intelligent, educated, having a good position in the society also, but that person, he is extremely attracted towards liquor, towards drink. So the family, the wife, his well-wishers, friends, everybody, they say that stop drinking, stop drinking. It's very good, bad for your health, for your prestige in the society, for your own family. Please stop it. He never listens to anybody. He drinks. He earns a lot, but he drinks because his sense of taste is so much strong towards this liquor, and the smell also. He cannot control himself. So he drinks. He falls in the drain. He falls on the road. So people in the society, they start talking about him. He loses his prestige. He loses love of his own children and his own family and his neighbors. Everybody starts talking. In his office also, people don't like. Doctor says that you are getting affected due to this habit, but in spite of all that, he cannot stop it, because that sense, that indulgence is so much strong that he accepts complete destruction, but then he does not come out of it. It is so strong that he reaches his destruction. So this is what sense gratification, if we don't stop even one sense organ, that also is going to bring destruction to our life. We will completely lose the peace of mind, and our life is also going to be very, very difficult for all of us. So now the 68th stanza in short I will tell. And Tashma Dasya Mahabaho Nikruhitani Sarvasah Indriyanindriyarthevyaha Tasya Pragya Pratisthita. Therefore, one who has restrained the senses from their objects, O mighty armed Arjuna, Mahabaho. Lord Krishna now tells Arjuna, you are Mahabaho and you are crying. You are trying to run away. You are a Sthitapragya Purusha. If you are not, see the condition of the people who are in delusion. So, O Arjuna, the great person, mighty armed Arjuna, the one who has restrained the senses from the objects is firmly established in the transcendental knowledge, in the supreme knowledge, and he achieves the happiness and the goal of life. So the enlightened soul or the Sthita Prajna Purusha, they control the mind and senses with the help of their intellect. Their intellect is very firm, okay, through the knowledge. Because they get this knowledge, they can use their intellect to control the mind and senses. Then this purified intellect which receives this great knowledge, they control the mind, and the mind, that mind is helping here now to control the sense organs. We know the mind is master of the sense organs. So in this way, finally the the intelligent person or the Sthita Prajna Purusha controls everything, and the senses pull the mind in their own direction. If you are not controlled, the senses pull our mind towards their direction. Okay, so but here the intellect is sthita, the intellect controls the mind controls the sense organs, and so the sense organs are within the control of the person. So the intellect or the intelligent person does not get derailed from the direction of the true welfare. So Sri Krishna says, if the intellect is purified by the spiritual knowledge, then the senses automatically will be restrained, because the intellect is purified. So it gives proper direction to the mind. So mind also gives proper direction. So if the teacher is knowing what the teacher has to do, teacher has got absolute knowledge, the teacher can guide the students in a perfect manner. There will be no mistake at all. So when the senses are in this manner checked, then the intellect never sways away from its goal. So it is all our objective world, that is all attracted or enjoyed by sense organs. Sense organs are controlled by mind controlled by intellect. Intellect bichara kare je eta mu karibi ki no karibi. But if the intellect is fed by spiritual knowledge, intellect is fed by realized soul, and the knowledge is absolutely refined, that intellect is purified. Intellect guides mind guides and controls the senses. The sense objects, in spite of remaining in this world, repeatedly do not run towards the objective world. They use the objects for their comfort and whatever need, but they don't get attached. They do not fall in the pit of that, and absolutely they enjoy alive. So the source is our spiritual knowledge. So let us evolve ourselves to obtain the spiritual knowledge, and then guide ourselves to lead a happy and joyful life. Hari Om, and thank you.